I'm so glad you're joining us for week 2 of the Corner Uniting Church family videos. My name is Nina, and last week we talked about Pentecost, and this week we're talking about Trinity. But what is Trinity? To help us answer that question, we're going to ask another question first. How would you describe God?
God is nice, caring, friendly, and smart.
God has a child called Jesus.
I think God is a magical and wonderful person.
That was a pretty hard question because there's so many different parts of God. There's a part of God that's really, really big, like as big as the whole universe. There's the part of God we see as Jesus. And there's the part of God that we feel is the love between us and God and us and other people. Because it's so hard to talk about all the different parts of God at once, we talk about God as a Trinity. The beginning of the word Trinity has the word tri, T-R-I, like a triangle with 3 different sides. This can help us understand and explain the 3 different ways that we see God. There is a part of God who is as big as the universe. We might call this part Creator, the part of God that brought life to the whole world. God we see in the trees, in the sunsets, in the flowers, and in the sea. The God we see in the tiny insects in the ground. And the God we see when we look up and see the stars in the big night sky. There is also the part of God who is Jesus, who is a little bit like a trusted adult, someone who might know a little bit more than us. They help us when we have questions, they guide us back when we're feeling a little bit lost, and they teach us when we have new things to learn. We can see this part of God in the Jesus we hear stories about. The Jesus who showed us lots of ways to help, guide, and teach others. We can also see this part of God in other people when they are helping, guiding, or teaching people. And there is the part of God that's like the invisible string. It's a connection between God and us. The connection that can sometimes feel a bit like warmth, or the wind breeze, or gentle water. But it's also the part of God that reminds us that we are connected to other people. It's a little string that tugs and reminds us to check on a friend, to send them a message or give them a call. It's the little tug that reminds us to be kind and helpful to others. It's the little tug that helps remind us to make good choices. And it's a little tug that reminds us to not just look after the people we know, but to look after others as well. So in the church, we celebrate Trinity Sunday to help remind us of the 3 different parts of God we experience. Now we have some activities for you to do at home to help remind you of those 3 parts of God. To remember God who's the creator, why don't you go outside? Carefully look through the grass or the dirt and see if you can find any little bugs or insects. Don't collect them, just look at them. And then when it gets dark, maybe go outside. Look up into the sky and have a look at all of the stars. Some of them are so big and bright, and others you might have to squint to try and see. Think about how God the Creator created the smallest things like little bugs and insects, and the big things like the stars and the universe, and how God created everything in between as well. To help us remember God who's Jesus, maybe take some time to think about things you might want to talk to Jesus about that might be hard to think about. So Maybe think about things you'd like to tell a trusted and safe adult that you know. It might be things you need help with. It might be things you're worried about. Maybe questions you have, or happy things you might like to share. So sit down with your family or a trusted adult. Take out a piece of paper and on the top, write or draw some things you might like to talk to Jesus about. When you're done, fold over your page and someone else can have a turn. Take turns with all the people with you. Once everyone has had a turn, or you've run out of things to write, open up the paper together and have a read through of the things you would like to talk to Jesus about. And to help us remember the God who's like the invisible string connecting us to God and to everyone else, you might want to do some acts of kindness. You might write a letter or draw a picture to someone you know or one of your neighbours. Maybe you could grab some chalk and go out on the footpath and write some nice messages or draw some pictures. Something to bring a smile to the face of people going for a walk or going to school or work. Hopefully with those 3 activities, you'll be able to remember the 3 different parts of God, because all 3 parts are special and important. And that's why we have Trinity Sunday. So we hope you've enjoyed our videos on Pentecost and Trinity. Keep an eye out for our next lot of Corner Uniting Church family videos. Bye for now.